G'day humans, Chris Stead here. I'm on the road. I've got a real interesting video for you today. So I'm obviously joined by my friend here and there. I'm in Nuanu, which is called the Creative City. It's in Bali, and it's about, depending on traffic, at least an hour and a half, probably 2 hours to get here from Denpasar, from the airport. And then on top of that, you're about half an hour, 40 minutes from Canggu, out on the piece of the coast here, like just kind of, like you follow the coast around from Seminyak. Now this is a brand new place that they're just building, like literally just building it, like there's construction behind me, right? And so I've been invited here specifically for the launch of the THK Tower. Now I'm going to go into that in a little bit more detail. So that's part of one of the big art displays they've got here. It's quite incredible. And then I've also been given kind of a tour of what they're doing here. So this video is not a review. It's definitely not a review. It is a preview, a work in progress, just kind of like where they are now, where they're heading. Because you can come here now. There's nothing stopping you from coming here now. And there's things definitely open that you can do. Some really cool stuff. So it's definitely worthwhile doing a video, but there's so much more to come. And that's what's kind of been really impressive. So when you actually rock up here at night, by the way, this thing here has got a projector on it, and it just looks like almost like a human face, like animated and everything. And so does this bloke here, and you kind of drive through it. It's like going through like the never-ending story gates or something, you know. But it's a creative city, and I'm literally filming this in the moment right now, and I've been here for a couple of days, and there's so much to digest. So I'm going to actually go home and I'm going to think about it even more, and I'm going to detail each of the individual spots with a little bit of, you know, afterthought and contemplation. I'll do it here if I was here for more time, but I'm not, and that's a bit of a shame, because the whole point of this is that this is a place where you should come to be creative, and a lot of what I do is creative. But I just can't process everything that I've been taught right now. Here comes one of those construction trucks, by the way. This is his third lap. So absolutely, I completely understand where we're at right now. We're not in a complete phase, but we are open. It was the grand opening last night. You know, I was here. I went to the official launch. The dignitaries were there, the local blokes. You know, the ribbon was cut. And there's plenty of cool stuff you can do here. There's a huge market here last night. If you'd been in this area last night, it was teeming with people, families, kids. That kind of building you can see in the distance there, it's an architectural marvel. I love it. It's like this big, like market. It's kind of like a hippie commune. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm a hippie, you know. I love it, but you know, just in terms of the freedom of thought, the freedom of art, the freedom to be yourself, and this overarching ambiance of just house. There is house music everywhere. DJs set up everywhere. The main bar, the Luna, or the kind of the beach bar, which is called Luna, which I will detail, and which is where the THK Tower is just got this giant kind of amazing statue of this pregnant woman in like a yoga pose, and there's been house playing there literally non-stop, and I dig it. But it's defining the clientele right now. So the clientele is generally young people, not all young, but young people or young people at heart. Think The Beach, the movie The Beach, right? Which I believe is a book first, so The Beach. But, and I'll give you a good idea of kind of the type of people it's attracting at the moment, which is right in my niche. I love it. You know, I'd love nothing more than to be able to bring my kids here and to just dance the night away in these amazing pools, water slides, with this music. These are phenomenal light shows. You've got this AI-driven media park over, like right over here behind me here, just down there. You walk through there, it's like fascinating, an incredible spa, really incredible spa. The Longhouse is amazing. There's just so much going on, a lot of focus on sustainability. A lot of the accommodation here is still under construction. This dome that you can see over here is fascinating inside. They're going to create it into an art gallery and a museum. There's lots of places to just kind of go and have like wellness experiences, like sound healing or meditation, yoga, Pilates, stuff like that. And it's all done really, really well, but there's question marks. I've got huge question marks over a lot of it. You know, and I think people are going to ask a lot of the similar questions. You know, so this whole thing's funded by Russia, so that's going to be a sticking point for people. So Sergey, I can't remember his last name right now, which I'm really embarrassed about. But I'm trying to keep a lot in my brain right now, and it's potentially not fair. He could just be a cool dude with a heap of cash who's just trying to build something, and that's definitely the picture that's been painted for me. So this is not a statement, but I know like people are going to, considering what's going on in Ukraine, everything like that, it's going to be a trigger for some people. A lot of the places that I've gone to, they're not run by locals. They're run by, like, you know, I've been introduced to it's bizarre. Like, so here comes this guy there. Mate, the Balinese, they work hard. They've been working non-stop. Everything, like this place is 44 hectares minimum. Apparently it could even be bigger than that. And it reaches right out, and as you come in from Canggu and it's like one lane in, and you're going through farms, like there's cows on the road, that type of thing, roosters, and then it even hits dirt road at points. I haven't even tarmacked it completely yet. And then there's like multiple parking lots, like 3 parking lots, three's for staff, 2's for group tour kind of stuff, like schools and stuff. They got the school, they got like the stuff it's doing here. They got schools. They're planning on potentially building a university here. I did have a quick look at it. It looks amazing. And then they got parking 2. That's parking 2, and then parking 1 is for general public. And you kind of come on these electric vehicles, and there's like a bus route that drops you off at all these places, and they're quite like spread out. So over there, behind me there, you can see those red roofs. That's called the Funky Place. That's let's say Bali or Indonesia's longest floating market, 200 meters long, but still in construction, so I wasn't able to check that out. Down here, they've got the Aurora media park. You go through there, it's freaking amazing. I wish I'd been able to do it with my kids. AI driven light shows, motion sensors, just all art, all beautiful, all amazing, all inspiring, really cool. Like this statue behind me, there's statues everywhere. But when I was introduced to all the people that were kind of running these things, none of them are locals. So that kind of stood out for me. There's obviously a lot of locals employed here. But I don't think this video should necessarily be about making commentary on the politics. What I really want to do is just basically take you through my impressions of each of the areas that they're either built or they're building. And whether or not you should come here now. Right now the date is September 29, I think, or 30, 2024, or whether you should hold off. But if you're a creative, and if you're the type of person who would have met me like in the bushes out of Byron, like at some doof, like you'll love it. love it. But for everyone else, I think you got to pick your moment and pick what you want to do. So anyway, that was probably a ramble. Probably in that it definitely was. So what we're going to do now is I've been walking around this place for days. So we're going to go to each of the places and I'm going to stop and give you some commentary on the experience and what they're doing there and the people. But everyone I met's lovely. Don't get me wrong. It's not. I'm not trying to be like, say that because they're not locals, they're not cool. That's not the case at all. They're really, really awesome and talented. But there's so much here about the Balinese culture that it just stood out for me. So we're going to go around each of the locations. I'm going to give you a breakdown of the experience and what it offers. We're going to go to a couple of places during construction, and I'll tell you a little bit about what their vision is and where they're planning to go with it, and ultimately just explain this place, because I just didn't get it from the website, and I didn't understand it when I got here, and then just going through and I'm just getting my head around this place. But the overriding impression I'm getting is that this place is going to be pretty special in about 4 or 5 years, maybe not even that long. It's going to be a real destination. Whether that's good or bad politically for the locals, I don't know. I don't care. As a traveller and as a dad with kids, I think it's going to be a real destination. So let's go jump onto that tour, and then you can see what you think for yourself. So the Luna Beach Club is definitely the highlight of your visit to Nuanu, certainly at this point in its lifespan, but it's a place that's going to keep on growing, as you'll see. Look, it's this absolutely stunningly built place. The architecture is just out of control. It's just beautiful little design elements everywhere you look. Now this is kind of the main restaurant that you'll go into. It's kind of where the entrance is. Look, it can get queues. They are pretty tight in security. They do check you, they do frisk you, they do look for water bottles and things like that they really shouldn't. In fact, the security and the way that they're kind of overbearing on the way that you get in is probably the only down point, and the prices, I guess, of some of the things inside. But yeah, not enough to bother you. But this kind of central restaurant area is absolutely just amazing, and beautiful, cool place to sit as well. Now, I did have to have some dinner there, and as you'll see here, it's absolutely on point. It did take ages to come out. That was one thing. I think they've really got to work on the logistics there and how they handle bigger crowds, because they weren't up for the crowd that was there on this night. But that'll happen. But the actual food that came out was really inventive, interesting, delicious, well presented, and not too much to complain about at all. So yeah, very much enjoyed the dinner experience there at what I believe they call it the 386 restaurant? 369 restaurant, sorry. And yeah, look, the prices are definitely up there across the beach club, but it is a pretty premium experience as well. And obviously those prices may change, but that's a guide to what that was costing at the end of 2024. Now, one of the cool things they do have in this building, you can go out tonight, is that this little stone in the center of the building. And when you go up and put your hand on it, it kind of changes color and this chime rings out. It's really cool and eerie. Anyway, back to daylight hours. You can see these kind of statues and woodwork and the bamboo everywhere. It's just unreal. So here's the pool. And look, it's really interesting. It's not massive, but it's still pretty big. It has lots of different spaces in it. There's a jump for the kids can jump off, or anyone can jump off it. There's a little spa section, as you can see here. We can just kind of relax and look out at the THK Tower. There's lounges all the way around it that you can either reserve. I'm not sure if you can just sit on anything. A lot of them were kind of reserved, and you had to kind of pay or be a certain level of guest. There's a water slide here. This is awesome. This takes you down to the Utopia bar, which is kind of a infinity pool almost. It's just got like a DJ playing constantly. There's just constant house music playing. And you can just sit here and watch the sunset, look out over the ocean, order drinks. There's a full bar down there. You can have as much as you want. It's got this built into this kind of cave experience. It's really, really cool, especially at night. But I'll show you a little bit more of that in a second. But let's just continue along here. Now, wherever you are in Nuanu, in the Creative City, you would constantly hear this background just beats, kind of going off. And it's all coming from down here. So you've got On the left, you've got these lounges that look out over the ocean and over this amazing statue. I can't remember the history of this statue, but it's made by someone who's quite well known, and it's spectacular. And then over the right here, you have little rooms. There's an ice cream hut, there's a jelly bean hut. You can go up into those kind of mud domey style things, and there's rooms up there, that VIP rooms that you can kind of sit in and look out over the view. There's bars in there, and there's the jelly bean hut right there, all kind of built in with the grass, and it's kind of got, you know, this like almost Hobbit-like feel to it. It's just really like just a fantasy land, and it's amazing during the day. It's even more amazing at night. So you've got these huge sun lounges. You can book out a whole one for your family or your friends. Sit there all day, order some food. The food that comes out to the actual chairs is just fine. I've got sushi, I've got chips and burgers and so forth. And then as the sun sets, things get really cool. So you can sometimes get down to the beach down there. It was fenced off when I was there, but there is a little fenced walkway, so you can walk down to the water and have a swim if you want to, and then come back up if they've got security there, which they didn't have on this particular day. And as the sun sets, it just gets so special. I mean, obviously you get lucky with the weather, but I had a really, really fantastic time. I just sat here for hours. I think I was there for 7 or 8 hours, just listening to the music, getting beers, getting food, dancing, taking it all in. The light shows are spectacular. It's just, it's so cool. I had a really good time. And yeah, as night progresses, it just gets better and better and better. But obviously you've got to be into the music, but it wasn't like trance or anything like that. It was just really funky, cruisy house. It's really easy for anyone to get into. There were kids running around everywhere as well. And that's the THK Tower you can see there. So that lights up and does some pretty awesome stuff as well. It's got an AI generated kind of lighting effect on it. So yeah, the Luna Beach Pool, or the Luna Beach experience at Nuanu is definitely one to recommend, and especially down at Utopia bar. That was just cracking all night. Just people in there having a fantastic time, coming down the slide, hanging out, talking, hanging on those giant flamingos. It was so cool. Righto, well, let's push on a little bit further. And as you go even further along here, you're going to see, again, like some of the architecture, the work, the building work here on some of the bars. I'll show you the toilet in a sec, even though it's just, you know, amazing. It's just an experience. Now over here they've got like this kind of reception hall. I can't remember the exact name of it. I don't know if it had an actual name. But in there, again, amazing roof, like this bended wood that's all been melded, kind of bent and molded into a certain shape, and this outlook over there. You could do weddings in there. There was a ceremony in there for the event that I was at, which is the launch of the THK Tower. And then this cool fountain out there at the back there as well. So again, everything in Nuanu City just looks like that. It's just amazing. Now down there in that little kind of hobbity holy dome thing is the toilet, which has TVs at every single urinal, big skylight coming through, amazing solid stone. It's absolutely incredible. And then at the back here, they've got a beer garden, right? And in here, you can get really good beers. So like when you're going around Southeast Asia, it's pretty much just lager or bust, and you can't tell the difference between any of them. But in here, they had pale ales, they had XBAs, IPAs, like proper craft beer. Nice and cool with the breeze coming off the ocean. There's the sun lounges down on the water side. They've got all the tables and chairs there and places to just hang. As you can see, they're a good selection of beers. And the food that came out of here was more of kind of what you'd say like it's more of a pub fare here in Australia, but it was so much better quality than that. That kind of makes it sound like it was basic. It's really, really nice food. Definitely hits you in the back pocket, but it's definitely delicious, and boy is the scene and the setting really spectacular. So absolutely, I actually spent a couple of days just lounging out here and eating and drinking and listening to the music and looking at the view, and I had a spectacular time. And I'll just finish off by showing you the THK Tower. So this thing, like I said, it's AI kind of animated, and it looks amazing during the middle of the day, and you can kind of walk up there and have a look at the view, and it's all built out of bamboo. It's all been twisted around. It can actually be broken down and moved and rebuilt. It's kind of like a Burning Man scenario, but it's a work of art in its own, and then at night they do these kind of events that last for 10-15 minutes where it's just sound and light. So I'll let this play out so you can soak it in. Now there's said to be plenty of accommodation options at Nuanu. There's only a few available when I was there, and they hadn't quite finished this one, Oshom, which is their 5-star luxury experience. And it was pretty close to being open, so I was able to have a tour of it. And geez, it's going to be a really lovely stay. In fact, I believe by the time you're hearing this, it's going to be open. Like, it was right on the cusp of opening when I got there. Yeah, just a fantastic location overlooking the ocean, just opulent. And relaxing and soothing and just beautiful, and the rooms are absolutely incredible. They've got these ones kind of rooms like overlooking the ocean. You've got some that kind of overlook that courtyard, then they've got some down in the mangroves like tree houses as well. Anyways, let's have a closer look at Oshom. Now this is an interesting place. It's kind of like a hobbit town. They've built it, it's kind of not far from the marketplace. You can definitely hear the beats from the Nuanu Beach Club from here. And it's actually mostly used by musicians and bands. There's a recording studio here, which I'll show you in a sec. But there is accommodation in all of these huts, so you can kind of stay here. That's the studio in there. And you can see from the window shapes and the way that the vegetation's been draped over everything. And as you go through this, like being at one with the environment, sustainability, that's a huge part of what they're doing at Nuanu. And you can see it in all the kind of the buildings, the way, and later on I'll show you the Aurora Media Park where they haven't touched a single branch, they've just built it into the actual forest. But it looks amazing, it's just magical, isn't it? So you've got the pool, you've got all these little hobbit houses around everywhere. And it feels like you're in another world. And then you've got this big music studio there, and bands have recorded there and then kind of come out here and relaxed. And yeah, I can't imagine in the creative city a more creative and relaxing environment to be in. It's called the Labyrinth Residences. And here you have the Nuanu Suites, or the pool suites. So they just kind of circle this pool area, and they're kind of almost like, I don't know, like a really fancy glamping style experience, although they're proper rooms, obviously with proper beds, but that's also available to you. Okay, onto the spa. Now this is Lumiera, I think it's pronounced. I've probably got that wrong. And this is the kind of wellness spa. Now this place was really, really cool. And I was able to actually kind of spend half a day here, I reckon, in the end. In the sauna, this incredible sauna. I also got this really amazing experience. I just never had anything like it, where they kind of whip your back with wet seaweed. I can't remember the name of it, in this like super hot dome. But yeah, I'm going to take on a bit of a tour so you can see it all for yourself. But they've got hot pools, cold pools, they've got like a little bit of an amphitheater. They've got this amazing pool with a fountain in it, and when you put your head into the pool, there's like sound healing happening in the actual water. They've got this the kiln style dome, where a hot room where they kind of do some of the experiences, and the one that I did. and massage rooms as well and everything. So yeah, really, they've done a really good job with it. Some of it was still in construction when I was there, but some of the most kind of high-end yet really earthy wellness experiences I've ever come across in a resort area. So art's obviously a huge part of Nuanu, the creative city, and here you can see the Longhouse, which I took to be kind of like a Viking style thing, but when you get in here, as you'll see when you get in here, there's a lot of Japanese flavour to it in the way that they've kind of dressed it up. But they were hosting an art exhibition here at the time. It was involving a lot of pieces that had been put together by artists using basically trash, like stuff that they'd found on the ground, like or on the beach, like thongs, and throwing rubbish, and it was really impressive that the way that some of it had been made. So I believe that was all thongs, and then they used microplastics to create the ink and the dye. So yeah, it was really fascinating learning about the way that this art had been created and just seeing it. But the actual building itself is just huge, and there's so much space in it. Like, it's not crammed in. You can walk through, there's sculptures, there's musical instruments, there's all kinds of things going on. And this will change. So the exhibitions that are on display here will change with time. And then there'll be, I assume, resident artists and stuff that also show off bits and pieces in the Longhouse. The sustainability side of things really does run deep in Nuanu. So you came across this glass making factory, and there was glass blowers, and they were using kind of recycled glass to create these amazing pieces of art. And we're able to have an experience with this guy and some of his staff, learning about how they were making the glass and their motivation and everything like that. And you can obviously buy any of the art that they're creating here. It's similar over at the waste sorting facility. So they've got all the waste that kind of gets generated in Nuanu, including all the offcuts and everything that comes from the construction. ends up kind of back here, and they sort it all out, and then they start to build things out of the rubbish, out of recycled materials, which they then sell back to people at this shop here. And there were some really inventive and creative ideas that were on display here. It's got to be respected. Now, Nuanu is trying to create this feeling of giving back to Bali, and part of this includes workshops such as this, where they bring in kids from the neighbouring villages and so forth and start teaching them things like dance and music and woodwork and that kind of like hands-on art and physical art. And so yeah, they've got this amazing little art village set up with all these little areas where, you know, things can be constructed and lessons can be taught, a lot of it coming from traditional Balinese culture. And I went for a wander through it and kind of got this footage, but it really was quite spectacular. And so apparently they bring in, there's a whole separate entrance to this area so they can bring in kind of school buses effectively, or excursions to get involved. I can't comment on how effective that is or how wanted it is by the local people, but I can say just seeing it for myself and hearing from the people at Nuanu, it definitely sounded like a really cool concept, and there was so much space given to it. Now elsewhere you'll find all kinds of weird bits and pieces. We stumbled on this area, which is like it's kind of like a meditation, yoga, sound healing environment. I think you can stay there in places. They've got the fire pit there. As you'll see in a second, there's like an amphitheater with plenty of space for people to come and meditate or take in some wisdom. It's all set up with speakers and everything so they can do the sound healing, and I'd say have concerts or speeches. There are other things going on in here, and it's right down in the jungle and a lot of space. And then you can go for a walk through the jungle, for the bamboo jungle, which is filled with all these trees, which are like over 100 years old, they're saying. They've deliberately avoided cutting down the forest, the old forest, to keep it in place there. And you'll see at the Aurora Media Park how cool that is. And then in the middle of it all, I stumbled on this alpaca farm. Yeah, they got alpacas set up in the back here, and I think there was chickens and dogs and stuff as well. So another little exciting place for the kids to come visit. They're also setting up like butterfly farms and insect farms and things like that, but that was still kind of under construction. All right, now onto the Aurora Media Park. This place is phenomenal. So basically you walk through the bamboo jungle, and they've got all this incredible lighting set up. As you walk through that door, by the way, or that entrance, it motion detects you and it makes sounds and lights change, and it's just so immersive. And you come through and it takes a while. It's like you walk through it for like 15, 20 minutes, and there's all these things set up and they react to you, like whether you do something or touch something or look in a certain way or be in a certain spot, it changes, and the sound changes and the light show sound changes, and it's so enveloping and an incredible experience. You can just walk there anytime you want. There's no cost or anything to do it. And it's definitely something that I think people of all ages will really, really love. Just make sure you wear some mosquito repellent when you go in there. But yeah, come on, let's just soak in the Aurora Media Park. Okay gang, well there you go. That's about as deep a deep dive of a tour as you can get on Nuanu, the creative city in Bali as of the end of 2024, more or less. I certainly hope that I can come back here when there's a bit more done and constructed. I want to check out some of those hotels, give you some feedback on what they're like, and I want to see some of this place. When it's done, it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be special. And I just got to work out some of the logistics. That's the biggest thing I need to work out is logistics, because at the moment, because it's all franchisees, they're not communicating with each other well. There's security everywhere, but they don't know what's going on between each other. So you go from one, like as a classic example, like I got given a bottle of water by one place, and they said, "Here, have a bottle of water. It's hot. Here's a bottle of water." I went, "Thank you." And then I walked 100 meters away, and then went to the Luna Beach Club, and they searched me and frisked me, and then took the water off me. And I'm like, "But you just gave me the water." And they were like, "No, we didn't give you the water. That place gave you the water, and we're completely different, and you can't have the water in here." And I was like, that's just not going to fly. You know, that type of attitude is just not going to fly with consumers. Consumers think this is Nuanu, one place. So they've got to work that out. And also I got quite busy. Last night was Nuanu Nights. It's a really cool experience actually. They were launching the tower, they had beats playing, and it was packed. They had I think they said that they had about 8,000 people here, and they weren't prepared for it. Like, the food was still really yummy, but came out sporadically, weirdly, not in the right order, took a while. The parking lot was packed, the queue to get onto electric buggies was packed. Then they were frisking everybody at the door, so the queue out there was huge. So definitely logistically, they got a lot to work out, and to make it just one seamless, beautiful experience where everyone's still, you know, it's supposed to be art, right? So collaborate, man. Yeah, so it's still a long way to go, but promising, really, really promising. And for a place like Bali, which has just been so hammered by Australians, to have something new and fresh to go and see here is definitely a cool thing, if you look at it from just the surface value. All right, I'm Chris Stead. Thank you very much for watching. As for me, I'm back on the road. Yew!